Before we start this video, I want to give a shout out to a person we lost, Henry Blake. His plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan. It spun in. There were no survivors.
Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. This time I'm reviewing Mafia 2, the Definitive Edition. Now, the original version of Mafia 2 was developed by 2K Czech and published by 2K Games, and originally released all the way back in August of 2010 for the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and PC. Now, this new remastered version just released on May 19th of 2020 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and you can buy it right now for $25. I believe it is strictly only for a digital version here in America. You might get lucky and get a physical copy if you're outside of the US, but I'm afraid to say this will be a digital download game only. Now, keep in mind, if you go and you buy the Mafia Trilogy collection, you will get the first Mafia they're remaking when they come out with it in a couple months. This game here, the Definitive Edition, and also what they call the Definitive Edition of Mafia 3. And, as for Mafia 3, I'm not really going to get into that, but I will say in the upper corner of the screen here will be a direct link to my Mafia 3 review I did, and it is a long time ago, I think like 3 or 4 years ago when it came out. Now, what exactly is Mafia 2? Well, it is an open world adventure game set in the fictional city of Empire Bay in the 1940s era. Basically think New York City from the 1940s, and that's their take on it. And you play as a character named Vito Scaletta, a vet who gets caught up in the Mafia after taking on his father's debts to save his family. Now, much like Grand Theft Auto, it also does feature a wanted meter with the police, and anything you do from any sort of crimes of shooting, stealing cars, killing people, they naturally will come after you, and you'll get a higher rating, and they become a lot more vicious the higher the rating, of course. But they'll even go after you for minor things too, like speeding, and much like Grand Theft Auto, all you have to do is lose them somewhere in the city, have the little meter go down, and everything's back to normal. Now, as for the overall gameplay of this title, the city seems to have three main Mafia families: the Falcones, the Vincis, and the Clemente families, along with the Chinese Triad, the Irish Mob, and lots of other street gangs as well. And through your roughly 12 to 15 hour long adventure, you'll do all kinds of different missions, from standard Grand Theft Auto to murders and more, as you go through doing stuff for these mob guys. Everything from money laundering, murdering people. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into with this kind of game. And now, the thing I noticed about it that I really do like, and I wish more games nowadays would have, is as you go through the story in this game, it has different seasons that'll happen. Like, it starts off in the snow, and as you go through, you go through the summer and fall. I love that because, not only does it add a nice visual difference to the game world, it also affects the handling of your vehicles and other things as well, which I actually thought was really impressive, especially considering this game is so friggin' old, really. Now, this game has over 50 different cars you can drive, 3 different full radio stations you can listen to, and most actions that you'll do throughout this game have what's known as a standard and violent action. Now, to explain that is you can have a standard one which is less noisy. Like if you go to steal a car, you can actually use lock picks to pick the lock first before you steal the car, while the violent action just has you busting through the window, causing more noise, getting more attention, and possibly alerting thugs after you or the police. And I like that ability that where you can actually do that through this game. Now, along with all the stuff that you do in this title, it did seem to have a lot of pre-order bonuses at the time for it, and even received 3 DLC packs in its lifespan. The first DLC was known as Betrayal of Jimmy, where it was a free DLC, and you got to play as a new character named named Jimmy, as he pretty much does a bunch of bad things. Now, the second DLC was known as Jimmy's Vendetta, and once again, you reprise the role of playing as Jimmy, and in this one, you pretty much have to get revenge for the fact of how all these other mob bosses and other people were trying to kill you and screw you over. So, it's pretty much his redemption and revenge story. And the third and final DLC they released to this is called Joe's Adventures, where you got to play as Joe Barbaro, pretty much the one buddy that you can play him during the years that Vito was in prison. And you end up having to leave town for 5 years and do a bunch of mob, running, for the boss because someone put a hit out on you, and you have to go and do all this stuff to pretty much, rise up in the ranks to where you get enough power to where you stop everyone who's trying to kill you, and you kind of, get super powerful. That's why at the beginning of this game, when you actually show up and, Joe is helping you out and he's got all these connections, it kind of explains how he has all these connections, how he actually worked his way up to his power that he has. And that one there is about 8 hours long of additional content that you can play on top of the overall length of the game already. So you get a good amount of gameplay, over 20 plus hours, with everything. And if you take your time to get everything, you're looking about maybe 30-40 hours plus in this title. Now, Mafia 2, the definitive edition, has all the main DLC as the original version with all the DLC packs and everything. And the main thing about this is a re-release, but they did go back and change the graphics. It's running off a different game engine. Hangar 13 pretty much had a couple other groups help them with this, but they got it running on a different game engine. They applied all new texture work to pretty much everything in the game, and it has a lot of subtle upgrades to it, including a lot more stable frame rate. Even though it still does have some issues, it plays a lot better than the original version of it. And honestly, for $25, if you haven't ever played it before, as long as you keep in mind this is an older game, so it's not going to have some really great over the top cutscenes in terms of the overall quality is still really good, don't get me wrong, but lip syncing is going to be an issue. Skyboxes aren't that great. You just got to understand that you're going to be playing an older game that has been spruced up. It does visually look a lot better and play a lot better than the original version, and with all the different DLCs that it comes with and everything else, for $25, if you've never played this game, I can highly recommend it. The only problem is I do prefer having a physical copy version, and I do not like the fact that apparently this is strictly going to be a digital download experience only, which is quite disappointing in this day and age. At least in America, you can't seem to get a physical copy of this. Honestly, now, I did say on my review of the Mafia trilogy not to get it, to pass on it. And that was strictly only for certain reasons of the fact that, honestly, for these old games, I would recommend that you wait. If you want to get the trilogy, wait until they actually have Mafia 1 done and released, because I can guarantee you there'll probably be a price drop at that point to where it won't be $60 for the game. So that's why I was saying don't get that game at the time. If you do not own Mafia 2 or Mafia 3 and you've always wondered about these games, yes, definitely go and get the Mafia trilogy, but I still highly say that you should wait until they get Mafia 1 remastered done, so you can get all 3 games at once, so you can probably play them in order, and on top of that, the price will be cheaper. But if you're thinking of getting Mafia 2, the definitive edition, if you've never played it before, for the cost of $25, you can go and download it now. And I would say for the overall amount of gameplay you get, the story in it, all the different aspects of the collectibles and everything else in this this title, it is worth the $25 price to be able to play this game again with a lot better graphics and all the DLC thrown in. And so at that point, I can definitely say my final meaning of this is definitely, if you haven't tried it, pick up and play Mafia 2, the definitive edition today. For $25, it's definitely worth the price for all the content you get. But if you're thinking about getting all of them, the Mafia trilogy, I actually recommend that you wait. I guarantee you, you'll probably be able to get all three of them at a much cheaper price point when Mafia 1 Definitive Edition is released here in the next couple months. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please give me a like if you like this video. Please leave a comment below what you think about Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. And in the end, make sure to hit the bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos. And I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.